Most people watch thousands of gallons of free water disappear every single year, and they have absolutely no idea it's happening. Right now, every time it rains, your roof is collecting water, hundreds of gallons of it, and almost all of it is flowing straight into the ground, into the street, into the storm drain. Completely wasted, gone forever. But there's a trick. A ridiculously simple trick that homesteaders, farmers, and off-grid families have been quietly using for decades. And once you see it, you're going to wonder why nobody ever told you about this sooner. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set up a system that can give you a virtually endless supply of free water, using nothing more than a few basic parts you can grab from any hardware store. Let's talk about what's actually happening right now. Every single day, water is becoming more expensive. In the last 10 years, the average American household has seen their water bill increase by over 40%, and that number keeps climbing. In some parts of the country, drought conditions are so severe that water restrictions are being put in place. You can only water your garden on certain days. You can only run your sprinklers at certain times. In extreme cases, people are being fined for using too much of the water they're already paying for. And here's the part that should make you angry. While all of that is happening, while people are rationing water, watching their bills go up, stressing about dry summers, the rain keeps falling. Free water, literally falling out of the sky, landing on your roof, and then washing away into nothing. The average American home has somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 square feet of roof space. Think about that for a second. Every inch of that roof is a collection surface, a giant funnel pointed straight at the sky. And right now, you're probably collecting 0% of what falls on it. That's the problem. Not just that water is expensive, not just that droughts are getting worse. The real problem is that the solution is sitting right above your head, and most people don't even know it. So where does the trick come from? Long before municipal water systems existed, people had to be clever. Farmers in dry climates, homesteaders on remote land, communities in places where rivers were far away and wells ran shallow. These people couldn't afford to waste a single drop of rain, so they developed systems. Simple, elegant, effective systems. They used their roofs as collection surfaces. They channeled the water into barrels and cisterns. They filtered it, stored it, and used it to survive seasons that would have otherwise destroyed their crops and their livelihoods. This wasn't primitive or desperate, it was brilliant. And somewhere along the way, when modern plumbing made it easy to forget where water actually comes from, most of us just stopped doing it. But a growing movement of homesteaders and off-grid families never stopped. And the system they've refined over generations is something almost anyone can build in a single weekend. It's called a rain barrel system. And the trick, the part that most people miss, is in how you connect it. Here's how it works, and I want you to picture this as I explain it. When rain falls on your roof, it doesn't just sit there. Gravity pulls it toward the edges, where your gutters catch it. Those gutters channel it toward a downspout, that vertical pipe running down the side of your house. Normally, that downspout dumps the water straight onto the ground, maybe into a splash block, and it soaks away or runs off. End of story. Now here's where the trick comes in. Instead of letting all that water hit the ground and disappear, you intercept it. Right in the middle of that downspout, you install something called a diverter. It's a small device, costs about $10 to $15, that splits the flow of water. When rain is falling and your barrel isn't full, the diverter sends the water sideways, into a hose, into your barrel. When the barrel fills up, the diverter automatically redirects the overflow back down the original downspout, so water doesn't go anywhere it shouldn't. That's the trick. That simple little diverter is the piece most people don't know about. Without it, setting up a rain barrel is messy, complicated, and prone to overflow. With it, the whole system basically runs itself. The barrel sits right beside your downspout. A 55-gallon food-grade drum works perfectly. You can find them online, at farm supply stores, or sometimes for free from businesses that use them for food storage. The diverter hose connects to a hole near the top of the barrel. At the very bottom of the barrel, you add a spigot, a simple threaded faucet, so you can attach a hose or fill a watering can whenever you need water. On top of the barrel, you need a screen or a mesh filter cover over the opening. This keeps out debris, mosquitoes, and anything else you don't want floating around in your water supply. This step is small, but don't skip it. That's the whole system. Gutters, downspout, diverter, barrel, spigot, screen. 5 components, and together they turn every rainstorm into a water delivery service. Now let me give you a number that's going to stop you in your tracks. For every inch of rain that falls, every 1,000 square feet of roof surface collects approximately 600 gallons of water. 600 gallons from 1 inch of rain. Think about your roof again. If you've got a 1,500 square foot house and you get just 1 inch of rainfall, that's 900 gallons of water landing on your roof in a single storm. The average American city gets somewhere between 20 and 50 inches of rain per year. Even in drier climates, you might see 15 to 20 inches annually. Run those numbers and you're looking at tens of thousands of gallons of water hitting your roof every year. Now, you're not going to capture all of it, not with a single barrel, but even capturing a fraction of that water, just the runoff from a few good storms, can be transformative. A single 55-gallon barrel can fill up completely from a storm that drops less than a tenth of an inch of rain on a standard roof. A tenth of an inch. That's barely a drizzle. And here's the thing that makes this even more powerful. You can link multiple barrels together, connect 2, 3, 4 barrels in a chain using simple overflow hoses between them. Now you're not storing 55 gallons. You're storing 220 gallons, 330 gallons, all from the same downspout, all from the same storm. Let's walk through exactly how you'd build this, step by step, because this is something you can genuinely do yourself in a Saturday afternoon. First, pick your downspout. Choose one that's close to wherever you'll be using the water most, near your garden, your garage, your shed. You want to minimize the distance you're hauling water or running a hose. Second, position your barrel. Set it on a stable, elevated base. Cinder blocks work great. You want that spigot at least a foot or two off the ground so you can get a watering can underneath it, and so gravity helps you get good water pressure if you attach a hose. Third, install the diverter. You'll need to measure and cut a small section out of your downspout to fit the diverter in. Most diverters come with clear instructions and require nothing more than a hacksaw and a screwdriver. Take your time here. A clean, tight fit means no leaks. Fourth, run the diverter hose to your barrel. Keep this hose as short and straight as possible. The water needs to flow downhill from the diverter into the barrel, so make sure your barrel is positioned lower than where the diverter sits on the downspout. Install your spigot. Near the bottom of the barrel, drill a hole and thread in a standard hose bib, a basic outdoor faucet. Use plumber's tape and waterproof sealant to make sure it doesn't leak. Let it cure fully before you use it. Finally, test the system before the next rainstorm. Run a hose over your roof or pour water directly into your gutters and watch how it flows. Check every connection. Look for drips at the diverter, at the barrel opening, at the spigot. Fix anything that looks off now while it's dry and easy. Total cost for a basic single barrel system? Somewhere between $30 and $80 depending on where you source your barrel. If you find a free food grade drum, you could build the whole thing for under $25. Now, let's talk about what you can actually do with all this water, because this is where it gets really satisfying. The most obvious use is your garden. A vegetable garden during a hot summer can need an inch of water per week. That's a lot when you're paying for it through a municipal supply. With a rain barrel system, you're watering almost entirely for free. Your barrel refills every time it rains, and in most climates, that's often enough to keep up with demand through all but the driest stretches. Your garden isn't the only thing that benefits. Washing tools, rinsing equipment, cleaning the car, topping off a backyard pond or chicken waters, all of this can come from your barrel instead of your tap. These are small uses individually, but added together, they can knock a meaningful chunk off your monthly water bill. And then there's the use that a lot of people don't think about until they need it: emergency water supply. If a storm knocks out your water service, if a pipe bursts, if something disrupts your normal supply, a full rain barrel is 55 gallons of water you didn't have to think about. It's already there, already collected, already waiting. You can't drink it straight from the barrel without additional filtration and treatment, and I want to be clear about that. But for sanitation, for flushing, for washing, for keeping your garden alive while you wait for things to normalize, it's invaluable. Okay, I promised you an extra tip, and this one genuinely changes the game. Most people who build a rain barrel system stop at 1 barrel, maybe 2, and that's great. But the homesteaders who really get the most out of this system do one additional thing. They install a first flush diverter. Here's the problem it solves. The very first water that runs off your roof in a rainstorm carries the most contamination. Dust, bird droppings, pollen, whatever's been sitting on your roof and in your gutters since the last time it rained. You don't want that first rush of water going into your storage barrel. A first flush diverter is a simple vertical pipe that catches that initial dirty flow, usually the first gallon or two from each downspout, and holds it separately, letting it slowly drain away through a small hole at the bottom. Once that dirty first flush is out of the way, the cleaner water that follows gets redirected into your barrel. It costs almost nothing. It takes maybe 20 minutes to install, and it means every drop of water in your barrel is the cleanest possible version of what fell from the sky. If you ever want to use your rainwater for anything beyond basic irrigation, starting clean gives you a much better foundation to work with. Here's the bottom line. Water is not going to get cheaper, droughts are not going to get less frequent, and your roof is not going to stop being a massive untapped collection surface just because nobody told you to use it. The rain barrel trick is not complicated. It's not expensive. It doesn't require special skills or tools or knowledge. It requires a barrel, a diverter, a spigot, and one Saturday afternoon. And in return, it gives you hundreds of gallons of free water every time it rains. Water for your garden, your property, your emergency supply, your peace of mind. The farmers knew this. The homesteaders knew this. The off-grid families who never have to worry about water bills know this. Now you know it too. If you found this useful, share it with someone who'd want to know. And if you want to see more practical, real-world systems like this one, subscribe, because we've got a lot more where this came from.